lost my mucus plug. And I can hear my sister like, what's a mucus plug? Hey y'all, it's your girl T Marie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Everything here is about hair, lifestyle, beauty, and of course, if you've noticed the title, I'm a new mommy. So I'm so excited to finally sit down and really tell my birth story. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe before we get into all the tea, okay? It is a crazy one, and I want to do a disclaimer. I did not vlog my actual labor and delivery experience. It wasn't really something that I wanted to bring my camera along for and record. I really wanted to be present and in the moment and just really focus on everything that's going on and the contractions and making sure that my baby is healthy and good, as well as myself, and just really having that time with my family. That was very important to me. But I do want to just hop on camera and just really talk to you guys about my birthing experience, the process, what it was like, what happens after birth, and all of those things. So if there's anything that I might have missed during this video, or if you have any questions or anything like that, just drop them down below, and I always respond to any comments or questions that you guys might have. So let's bring this back, okay? So my official due date was June 28th, 2023, okay? Hey, sweet pea. I don't know, she just loves to hear me talk. So if you guys hear her kind of doing her little cooing in the background, she's sitting right here. But at 38 weeks pregnant, I went into my OB, and I'm like going like, okay, I really hope I'm dilated. Like, I'm ready. Like, literally at this point, I am ready to have this baby. I was getting so exhausted and tired. My stomach is feeling heavy. My back is killing me. My feet were so swollen. I could not wear shoes. Like, I had to wear like flip-flops. It was crazy, okay? So I go into the outfits and I'm like, yeah, I definitely want you to check me. Am I dilated? Girl, 0 centimeters dilated. I was heartbroken, okay? And I'm like, okay, maybe, you know, we still got 2 more weeks. Hopefully, you know, things can kind of get going. So I go in for my 39th week appointment, right? And I'm like, okay, all right, we got this, right? They check me, girl, 0 centimeters dilated. Like, what? Like, this girl was just, she was not ready. She wasn't ready. She like, I'm gonna come on my time, not your time, okay, mom? Fast forward to June 28th, right, which is the following week, and I'm still pregnant. Like, hello. And I'm just like, okay, baby, you know, I'm talking to her like, you know, you gotta come out of here, you know, it's almost eviction time, baby. And she was not going. So the following day, at this point, I'm 40 weeks in 1 day, and I go to my OB appointment, and I've been reading all of these things about membrane sweeps and how it really like kickstarts labor. So I tell my OB, like, can you check me to see if I'm dilated? If I'm dilated, I want the membrane sweep because I'm ready to get this going, okay? So he checks me. I'm 1.5 centimeters dilated. Like, I'm already past my 40 weeks and I'm only 1.5 centimeters dilated. Like, this is insane. And I wasn't dilated enough for him to do the membrane sweep. So at that point, it was just a waiting game. And I had a conversation with my doctor, and typically they don't want you to go past like 40 weeks and 7 days. So essentially 41 weeks, they don't want you to go past that. So at that point, we're having these conversations, and I'm just really, you know, urging and just pushing, like, you know, I really want to start labor naturally. I don't want to be induced. For me, that was like an absolute last resort. And I love that the doctor, you know, understood where I was coming from and really listened to what I wanted. So what we decided to do was we decided to schedule the induction for July 5th, which would essentially be that 41-week mark. And I said, okay, let's just cross our fingers and hope and pray that I go into labor naturally, because that was really, really important to me. Here is when things really start to just kick in, okay? So I'm 40 weeks and 3 days at this point. So it's officially July 1st, okay? I woke up that morning, I remember it was 6:10 a.m. and I woke up to this like pain, and it almost felt like a period cramp, but it was a little bit more intense to the point that I was sleeping and it woke me up out of my sleep. So I woke up and I'm like, what the hell? And I'm just looking around like, okay, was that a contraction? Like, I was literally like, had no idea. I'm like, I think that was a contraction, but I'm not sure. So at that point, I'm like, okay, let me just lay here. Let me just wait and see if I have another one. So I just continued to just lay in the bed. I'm chilling, like on my phone, you know, whatever. And 25 minutes later, boom, another one. I was like, okay, I'm having contractions. And I was like so excited. I'm like, yes, it's time, it's time, it's time. So immediately, you know, I call Bae, and it's like 6:30 something in the morning, right? So I call him, he doesn't answer. I'm pretty sure like he's asleep. So I sent him a text and I'm just like, hey, like, don't be alarmed and like, you know, get all like nervous or anything, but I'm having contractions. They're 25 minutes apart. You know, I'll let you know as they get closer together, but you know, the time it's coming. So at that point, I'm like, okay, let me just get up. I already had my hospital bag together for me and baby girl. Literally everything has been together and ready for weeks and weeks. So for me, it was really just about managing like the pain. And at this point, it's so early on that it was tolerable. I was able to tolerate it. So, you know, I do my morning routine, hygiene, skincare, all of that. And around 7:30 that morning is when I call my mom, and I was just like, hey, don't panic, I'm having contractions. So Saturdays, my mom usually goes to like her Zumba and all her workout classes and everything. I'm like, you can still go to your classes. My contractions are just really far apart right now. I'll let you know when it gets closer. So, you know, she was just like, okay. You know, at first she said she was gonna go to her classes and everything, and then she was gonna come by after. And being the supportive mom that she is, she dropped everything. She came over, she brought me some breakfast. So we just sat in the kitchen, we ate, we talked, and during this time I'm literally like having these contractions and I'm just breathing through these contractions. And I don't know, that was just the best thing for me, is to really just kind of close my eyes, focus, and just really realize that like, okay, this is just the beginning. Like, this contraction is going to pass. Just breathe. So literally I just breathe straight through the contractions. And at this point, they're starting to come about 20 minutes apart. So while I'm eating breakfast, Bae calls me and he's like, what's going on, you know, whatever. And I was just like, I'm having contractions, don't panic. They're pretty far apart right now. I told him, like, you know, if anything, I'll probably have to go to the hospital like later that night. That was what I was thinking. Like, maybe it might be like 10 o'clock at night. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna go to the hospital. Like, the contractions were just so far apart. He was helping one of his family members move that day. So I told him, just go ahead, you know, help your cousin move. Let him know my mom is here with me. Everything, they're just so far apart right now. It's not even time yet. I want to say maybe like an hour after that, my sister comes over and we're all just, you know, sitting here talking or whatever. And my mom is like, okay, we're gonna get you up. You're about to go for a walk. So I'm like, okay. And I mean, I got my t-shirt on, my sweats on, threw my Crocs on because I can't fit my tennis shoes. And we just go for a walk. I think we're maybe out for maybe 30 minutes. Just kind of like up and down the street. There's a park across the street as well, so we just kind of walk around there, walk around the block and all of that. And as I'm walking, I'm still having contractions, just breathing through them. And we come back to my house, and you know, they're like, oh, we're gonna go across the street, we're gonna get some coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. I call my best friend and I'm like, hey girl, like, you know, I'm in labor, I've been having contractions all morning, like I'll keep you posted type of thing. And a girl, after that, everything just, it's almost like a blur. My mom and sister, they came back, we were laying on the couch, we were watching something on Netflix. I want to say 20 minutes later, I'm literally just laying down on the couch, literally, okay? 20 minutes later, I heard this noise, and it was like a internal noise inside my body, and it sounded like a little pop, like it was like a, can you even hear that on camera? I don't know, but that's the only way I can explain it. And I was just laying there like, what the heck was that? And I didn't really think anything of it. And then I felt like this gush of fluid, and I jumped off that couch so fast, ran to the bathroom, and I sat on the toilet, and I'm thinking like, okay, I peed on myself. So I'm sitting on the toilet, I pee, and I look down into the toilet, and I'm like, oh my god, I lost my mucus plug. And I can hear my sister like, what's a mucus plug? And soon as I like, you know, I kind of like wiped or whatever, and I stood up. And soon as I stood up, it was just another gush of fluid all over my bathroom floor. And I was like, I think my water just broke. And my mom ran to the bathroom, and she stood there and she looked at me and she was just like, yeah, your water broke. Like literally, I was standing in my bathroom, okay? Like I had a t-shirt on, but I had like nothing else on. I'm just standing there like, and I'm like, what are the odds of this? Like, they say like the percentage of women whose water actually breaks is really, really low. Like, they do all this stuff in these movies and everything for like these big, you know, whatever, but it doesn't really happen like that very often. So I'm like, what? Like, my water actually broke? So after my water broke, my mom is like, do you have everything ready? I'm like, yeah, everything is ready to go. I call babe and I'm like, my water just broke, it's time, it's time. So he like dropped everything he was doing. So I called the doctor's office and let them know, like, you know, hey, I think my water just broke. You know, I'm 40 weeks and 3 days and all of that. And I'm talking to an on-call service. So they were like, you know, they're gonna page the doctor and the doctor is gonna be calling me within 30 minutes. So I'm like, okay, cool. At this point, I'm just like feeling so gross. Like, I just came from walking outside. I have all this fluid and all this stuff over me. I'm like, I'm about to take a shower. My mom was like, you about to take a what? I'm like, I'm about to take a shower. Like, I want to get in the shower. I'm like, I don't know when is the next time I'm gonna be able to take a hot, relaxing shower, because I know we're about to go to the hospital. I hop in the shower. While I'm in the shower, the doctor calls me. So I'm like, peek my head out the shower, had my hand out the shower, like, hello, like talking to the doctor, and she's asking me these questions like, you know, what color is the fluid, blah blah blah, and all that type of stuff. And she's like, yeah, you need to come in ASAP right away. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I tell babe, I'm like, okay, they said to come in right away, like I'm literally taking a shower right now. He like, you taking a shower? And I'm like, yeah, why everybody tripping? Because I want to take a shower first. And he's just like, you just so calm about it. I'm like, I gotta be calm. Like, I've been calm my whole entire pregnancy. Like, good mood, good vibes. Like, this ain't stopping no show. I take my shower and I put on those disposable, they're like underwear pads. I can't really explain it, but that's the only way I can think of it. They kind of remind me like adult period diapers or something, but I put one of those on because I'm constantly like leaking amniotic fluid, like constantly. And we all hopped in my mom's car. We're on our way to the hospital. And let me tell y'all what's so funny about that is, like, literally, I want to say that morning, me and my sister were just joking around or whatever. And we were like, yeah, like if your water breaks, you're gonna be, you know, in mom's new car. Talking about you gonna be in mom's new car, like you gonna mess up her seats. And I'm like, nah, because I'm gonna put on one of them adult diapers. And we start laughing. Whole time, literally, that's exactly how it went down. What are the odds of that? By this time, we get to the hospital. It is 3:30 in the afternoon. So just time stamping here. My contractions started at 6:10 a.m. on July 1st, okay? My water broke around 2:30 p.m. on July 1st. I get to the hospital around 3:30 p.m. So they literally check me in already knowing like I'm overdue and my water broke. So I change and everything, and I'm in my labor and delivery room. By the time I get into my labor and delivery room, I'm changed. It's 4 p.m. at this point. So the doctor comes in, she tests the fluid just to make sure that it is amniotic fluid, and it was. And then she checked me to see how far along I'm dilated. So at this point, all right, 40 weeks and 3 days past due, I'm only 3.5 centimeters dilated. What? I went from 1.5 to 3.5 in a matter of 3 days. I'm like, that's it? Like, that's it? I just thought I'd be more than 3.5 centimeters dilated, especially if my water broke. So I don't know, I was just like really surprised. Because my water had already broken, it's one of those things where they want you to deliver within 24 hours because you could be at risk for infection. So they started me on a very low dosage of Pitocin. So while the Pitocin was kind of like kicking in, the contractions did get a little bit more intense, and they did start to get closer and closer together. By this point, my contractions were 10 minutes apart, and then they were about 6 minutes apart, and then they were like 5 minutes apart. So they started to become more and more frequent, and also they became just more intense. Like, it was to the point where I almost could not tolerate it, because my contractions, like my stomach would tighten. I would feel this pain like at the front of my stomach, kind of like lower my abdominals, and then it would radiate all the way around to my back. And that is where I was like, oh no. Like, no, epidural me, please. I already knew that I was gonna get an epidural. Like, there was no question about that. Kudos to everyone who has natural births unmedicated. I'm not doing it, okay? Give me the drugs, okay? Can I say that on YouTube? So about an hour later is when they came in and did the epidural. I had a good experience with the epidural. I feel like the part that kind of hurt the most or felt the most uncomfortable is when they were putting in the numbing agent, because there's like this warm like heat sensation. I don't know, it was strange. Once I got the epidural, I was really ready to kind of just relax. I didn't go back to sleep necessarily. I feel like there was just kind of too much going on in my environment for me to actually get like some sleep. So I just kind of like was up talking and laughing with my family, with babe and everything, and before you know it, it's 11 o'clock p.m. and I just remember feeling pressure, and it was pressure. It felt like I had to poop. So I told the nurse, I was like, I'm feeling pressure. And I was like, I'm feeling just a lot of pressure down there. And she was like, do you feel like you have to poop? And I was like, yes, I feel like I have to poop. And she was like, okay, let me check you. So she checked me. I'm 10 centimeters dilated. She's like, okay, it's time to push. She's like, you're feeling like the baby's head. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to do this. So she went, got the doctor, they came in, and we started just some practice pushes. I had never done this before, and they literally tell you to push like you're pooping. I'm like, what? Literally, push like you're pooping. So I'm like, okay. So I have like the doctor kind of like between my legs looking at everything that's going on. I have one nurse holding my left leg, Bae is holding my right leg, and we're just doing this thing, okay? So I'm pushing. I pushed for a while. I pushed for an hour and 30 minutes. Yeah, it does not feel like it took that long at all, like at all. And I'm so like happy, like Bae was there. He was just so supportive. Like if I needed a cool cloth on my forehead, he got it, you know, giving me water, like literally holding my leg. It just everything. And I just remember as she was like, as I'm pushing, and the doctor was like, oh, I see the baby's head. And I'm like, I reached down there and I'm like, oh, I feel her head. I feel like all this hair like on her head. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then the nurse kind of like wiped off my hand, like the fluid and everything. Before we knew it, baby girl was born. I just remember that feeling of her actually like coming out. It's strange because even though I had an epidural, I could still feel, I still have a sense of feeling. So for instance, before you push, you have to have a contraction. I couldn't feel the contraction, but I can feel like the tightening of my stomach, knowing that a contraction was about to come. It's so strange, but it's so interesting. It's so interesting. The fun fact is, when she was born, it was July 2nd, 2023 at 1:11 a.m. So July 2nd is also my mom's birthday, so she shares a birthday with her grandma, okay? And 1:11, angel numbers. It couldn't have gotten any better, okay? She weighed 6 pounds, 11 ounces. I'm talking about you, baby girl. And I know I always call her baby girl. I have not revealed her name, like on YouTube, on social media, or anything. So here is her name. Her name is Mia Chantel. Like, it just rings. It's so cute. It was just such a magical day. Like, I couldn't have asked for my labor and delivery experience to be any better. It was amazing. And I got to meet my baby girl. Oh my gosh. I'm like, I don't want to tear up because, you know, I'm not trying to be that person, but it was such a magical experience, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Whew, okay, we gonna get this together. So after she was born, immediately after she came out, she's right on me skin to skin. I did not care about any fluid, any blood, none of that, okay? I don't care. This is my baby, okay? So she's laying on me and I'm just crying, I'm bawling. I'm like, babe, look what we did, look what we did. It was amazing. So after that, they took her, weighed her and everything. They did everything right in the room, so I was able to see her. And this girl, like when she came out, she was not crying. She was so chill and just alert with everything that was going on. And my mom was like, is everything okay? Cause she ain't crying. And I'm like, Mom, don't scare me now. Don't scare me, okay? Once they were done, they brought her back to me. And then I did put her on the breast to breastfeed. And yeah, we stayed in that room, I want to say all night, because they did not have any, I think they call it like postpartum rooms available at the time, so we just stayed in that same room. And the baby was next to me in her bassinet. Well, I do want to talk about a couple of things that some people don't really talk about as far as like after birth. The fundal massages. These things, they hurt, okay? So as soon as you give birth and the placenta comes out, you still look pregnant. Like, it's pretty hollow in there, but you still look like you're maybe 6 months pregnant. And what they do is they push on your stomach, like it's almost like a massage, but they're like pushing downwards. And what they're doing is they're getting all of that fluid, that blood, all of that stuff like out of you. And they're doing this like pretty much like every day that you are in the hospital. They're doing this, and they're checking to see like how much you're bleeding and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, it is painful, but you know, they have to do it. I had so much like fluid in me just from the Pitocin, the IV fluid. They also had to take out the catheter once I was ready to push. So they had to get me up to go to the bathroom because they want you to empty out your bladder and all those fluids. Girl, the epidural was like still kicking, okay? Like one of my legs wore off before the other one, but I could not walk to the bathroom, so I needed assistance to get to the bathroom, get on the toilet and all of that. When I tell y'all, I peed for literally, it felt like I peed for 10 minutes. It was like non-stop, just so much fluid, just pee. I'm just going. I'm just like, dang, like, is it over yet? The nurse, they show you how to kind of care for everything down there. You know, they give you these huge, like, dumb maxi pads that you put down there. They give you witch hazel pads. They give you a peri bottle so you can spray like warm water down there because you cannot wipe. It's too sensitive down there. Trust me, you don't want to wipe. You can dab, but you don't want to wipe. Okay, you just don't. They give you these super giant like mesh underwear. And honestly, in my opinion, I felt like they were pretty comfortable. Like, I didn't want anything like really tight and restricting around any of like, whether it was my stomach, my lady parts, whatever. So I feel like the mesh underwear were just very comfortable, and I like that I can throw them away every time that I go to the bathroom. I did tear during birth. I had a 2nd-degree tear. So I had to get stitches. They do dissolve. At the time, I didn't know I was tearing. I didn't know nothing, okay? You know, I just kind of knew like after the baby came out, the doctor told me to push the button to just let down more medication into the epidural to numb me some more because I did tear. So she just let me know so she can stitch me up real quick. But yeah, I mean, the next few days, I think I was in the hospital for 2 more days after birth. It was nice. I had a really good experience. The nurses were so pleasant, very knowledgeable. They answered a lot of my questions, especially for me being a new mom. I had questions about breastfeeding, formula feeding, all of that type of stuff. I just remember there was one night where she just would not stop crying, and we felt like she just wasn't getting enough from my breast. So if you're not aware, during those first few days after birth, there's no breast milk. It's a substance called colostrum, and it has all of the nutrients and everything that the baby needs for those first few days. So I felt like she just wasn't getting what she needed, so we did have to supplement formula one night just to help calm her and for us as parents to get some sleep. Would I do it again? Would I do it again? I would definitely do it again. I do want to have more kids soon. Yeah, it's all on God's timing. It has nothing to do with me, and that I know. Thank y'all for watching this video. I'm so happy to finally just share my experience and just really just documenting this whole journey with my vlogs and updating you guys on kind of like what's going on. If you follow me on social media, especially like on Instagram is where I'm like most active, so follow me there if you're not. You know, I share some, but I feel like YouTube is really my platform for you guys to really get to know me and to let you guys kind of just like inside of my life, I guess. I don't know, but I love doing this. I absolutely love it, and I hope you guys enjoy what I'm doing. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in